Welcome to Vin and Mike, our special Kentucky Derby episode. How are you, Mike?
What's up, Vinny? Yeah,
everything's great. This is our first special edition kind of episode where we're going to strictly cover the Kentucky Derby. I don't expect it to run our usual hour plus, but with you, who knows? You know, I don't know. Sometimes you get a little crazy.
Hey,
or maybe that's me. I don't know.
There's nothing like horse racing. There's nothing like horse racing betting. It's so exciting, and Kentucky Derby is here Saturday.
It's really exciting. You know, we've been talking about it for a lot of years. You know, our different betting with the Kentucky Derby, going to OTB back in the day in the Meadowlands and all that. So real exciting that it's here, that we get to really talk about it, break it down for our audience today, and everyone enjoy themselves.
I'm just laughing because you mentioned OTB, and you're going to love this one. So I worked at the Seaport at one time, like Water Street, and they had an OTB right there. So I would go on my lunch break, go to the OTB, watch races, and go back to work. Talk about degenerate style.
And you saw the same guys in the OTB giving you their hot picks every time you walk in.
Here's my advice for our audience. Ready for this? If you walk into an OTB, well, there's no more, but back in the day, if someone says the two horses is a sure thing, don't bet it.
And talk about betting, Vin and Mike is now brought to you by Viggy Bets. As we know, Viggy Bets is one of the best handicappers around. You can check out Viggy Bets on Twitter and Instagram at Viggy Bets. If you DM Viggy Bets now, you'll get a 14-day free trial as long as you mention you're a fan of Vin and Mike with a new VIP membership. And then I noticed today he's also doing daily memberships, weekly memberships. He's got all kinds of memberships. So, even if you're not sure you want to sign up for a monthly or a yearly, check him out. Maybe, sign up for the day, do some of his baseball picks. He has all kinds of different picks going on. You can DM him. He'll explain to you exactly how he does things. Really good person and a good service for anybody that's in the world of betting.
Yeah, I also want to give a shout out to my good friend John Taccarino, who has his own business, Tack Woodworks. He does some awesome custom designs he makes tables, chairs. He actually made chessboards for people recently. So if you're on Instagram, he gave us a nice shout out, but visit Tack Woodworks all over Instagram, the Facebooks, give him a shout. You're looking for a new table, chair, custom, chess set. He can make anything, and very reliable and great service, great product. So
can he make me a new house?
That may be a stretch.
Oh, all right.
But
maybe a roof.
We'll see. I'll talk to him on the side.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into it, Mike. The Derby is Saturday. The weather right now, I did a little check before we came on, just so everybody's aware. We are recording this show Thursday night, so if you do hear it on Friday or Saturday morning, just know we are recording this Thursday night. Last I checked was chance of rain about 45%, cloudy about 60 degrees, but a lot of rain in Kentucky and Lexington area Friday for the Oaks. And then, I know that they dry the track really good. They get it done really fast, but just as an FYI for everyone, right now, potential rain about 50%, let's just say.
I just want to mention, since we're a betting show too, I think it's important for our audience. I mean, some of you gamble on the Kentucky Derby, but there's so many different ways you could bet. And we'll go into the horses in a second, but you have your traditional win bet, and that is basically if you want to put money on, you think that horse is going to win, you bet that horse. But there's also win, place, show. Place is obviously second place, and show is third place. And then people mention the term exotics. What is exotics, Mike? That's when you do a trifecta or superfecta. Trifecta is the first three horses in order, and a superfecta is the first four horses. A lot of people will box because it makes sense. The worst thing you could do is pick 1, 2, 3, 4, and it comes in 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're like, shit, I had those horses, but I didn't box them. So very helpful hint for beginning bettors. Make sure if you go to the track or however you bet this, box your horses. There's so much variance with this. And I think those are really the main bets. You could have a lot of fun. It's not Anthony, our buddy who was on the show a while back, made such a simple but good point. You don't have to bet big to win big. And that's exactly what happens with the exotics. You could put a $1 bet, and if long shots come in for a trifecta, you win thousands of dollars. So that's why the Kentucky Derby is so appealing. It's for all ages, all sports fans. It's the most exciting, what do they say, 2 minutes in sports? I mean, it's just awesome, and glad we're talking about it.
Yeah, and again, for our audience, there's 20 horses in this field. That's why the betting odds are so great. A normal race will have 8 horses. So when you have 20, a lot more things can happen. And also, when you do box a bet, just know that you're paying for every possibility of that bet coming out. So, you're not just placing a $1 trifecta box. I think that'll come out to, is that $6 usually, I think?
What, for 3 horses?
Yeah, $1, right? $1 trifecta, $6.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so just know you're betting, 6 different combinations at that point. So if you do make a box bet, do understand that it's $1 times the combinations that potentially can come out. So just that, as a start. So where do you want to start, Mike? You want to start with who you like as your top pick? You want to start there? Do you want me to go to some of our listeners' questions? How do you want to start?
Our listeners come first, so let's hear some of their questions, and love to answer them.
Right. I think it is pretty simple. It's a fairly simple question. Who is the Kentucky Derby favorite was one of the questions.
Okay.
So I think right now that would be Zandon. I think it's Zandon, who's the 10 horse, and their odds are 3-1 at this point. So for every $1 you would bet, you would win $3 on Zandon. That's the way that works with some intricacies to it. But Zandon, the 10 horse, is the favorite right now.
And it's close to that Epicenter, which is 7-2, which is 3.5. So right there, and it's got the 3rd position. We're going to talk about positioning soon and how important it is and the history of it in the Kentucky Derby.
And I think this next question will go into who we think's going to win right away. It's what horse has the best chance of winning? So,
well, this is a very open. We're going to have a difference of opinion, but I'll have Vin honor first.
Again, the favorite is the betting odds favorite of winning, right? So, if you go just in terms of pure odds and the way things are going, Zandon would be the best chance to win. But, we're gonna take our take on it, and we'll get into more detailed answers in just a minute. And then one last question: why no UFC 274 show? So my response back to our listener was, we just don't have time this week to record this many shows. It's a lot of shows to record, but and
that person who wrote to you could certainly come on the show and talk about it.
Absolutely, and I think that's what we'd like to do. And down the line, as maybe a bigger UFC event, something that's maybe making more headlines to the general population, and maybe our listeners have some more things that they want to send to us. We'll definitely head in that direction. But let's jump into it. Mike, go ahead. Let me hear your wins, some of your exotics. Let me hear what you got, some of your analysis.
Sure. There's a horse who's running the 7th position. 7th position is historically a good position in the Kentucky Derby. A lot of winners coming out of that position. It's a horse called Crown Pride. And this is my long shot, but I really like the horse. It's a Japanese import, and shouldn't have any problem in the Derby because he is undefeated in 3 starts. But here's the key, and this is why weather's so important. We have to really look at the weather closely because this is on dry land. So Japan has had a massive year internationally with horse racing, and I think this is a horse that has been talked about, is strong, and has a good chance. The other horse that I like, because Vinny, I think we're in agreement, is about the jockey. And Irad Ortiz Jr. Has had the most starts this year. He's riding Mo Denagle, which is 10-1. So you got top-rated jockey and a horse with Todd Pletcher. The only issue that I see is it's running in the first position on the rail. But the horse itself, it ran so well in the Wood Memorial, which was another race recently. He's one of the most dangerous finishers in the race. But the key is when you're on the rail like that, you don't get banged up on the side there. You got to make it to the middle of the track and really go with it. So it depends how he gets out. So he actually won over Zandon and really should have the distance. So it all depends. But I really like this horse. The jockey's top notch, the trainer's top notch, and he shouldn't go underlooked. So
yeah. So couple of things I'll say about Mo. Again, that rail position you do worry about, but they did adjust the gate this year, so the gate is not as far over it as it's been in the past. So I think that'll help him a little bit, but he's a traditional closer. He's not going to really be in the pack early. So your fear is with him being a one horse on the rail with this amount of horses that he gets stuck. And when he wants to make his move, there's no place for him to go. In the Wood, he had a really good trip. He set up nice. He was able to make the pass. He actually had the one in the Wood also and made a nice pass and really came home with really nothing. The jockey had to really encourage him at all. He had a real nice trip, really good race. Like you said, good jockey Ortiz, Todd Pletcher horse. For those that don't know, Todd Pletcher is one of the top trainers. He has 3 horses in it. I'm going to talk about those horses because I think every one of them could be put into your exotics when we talk about superfectas and trifectas. So I think that's good. So let me give you a little bigger analysis of this race and some of my feelings when I looked at it. So first thing I like to look at are pace setters. So who are the horses that are going to shoot out of the gate, set the pace, and how other horses are going to fall behind them. So the 17 horse, which is classic Causeway, is a speed horse. He's going to run right to the front, and he's going to charge out. He's also going to be followed by the 4 horse, in my opinion, Summer's Tomorrow. I think they're going to be the 2 horses that are going to shoot out early, try to set the pace. So a couple of things you worry about with that are the horses next to them. Sometimes those horses could get shuffled back, could get caught in as they start moving out, and then other horses around them that are also traditional pace setters. Now, Epicenter, who's 7-2 in the 3, could go with the 4 horse. He could try to set and try to get on, into the second position behind him and settle in that way. He's that kind of horse. He might be able to do that. And then the 11, Pioneer of Medina is another speed horse. Could hold a 17 up a little bit. Could make it a really, really fast quarter mile as they come out. And then as other horses come in. So with all that being said, I like how this sets up for the middle horses from 6 out to 15. I like the way this race really sets up for those horses. Messier, Zandon, Taibai, White Abreu. So that's the 6, the 10, the 12, and the 15.
I want to say something.
Go ahead, Mike.
I just want to say something else real quick. Messier was one of my other horses in my top picks. he really, again, I think he has a good draw at number 6. It's a good place to be. He's fast enough to compete. He has John Velasquez on board, who's one of the top jockey, trainer, position. I look at the top jockeys because they know a good jockey knows how to ride in this kind of pace and with these amount of horses. And John Velasquez is a jockey that you see a lot who understands what it takes to win. So, So that's definitely in my top 5.
And good odds, 8-1 there for Messier. Now, the horse that I like the best out of this is a young horse, a horse that is only going to be in his 3rd race, but he really showed a tremendous amount of pace. He's driven by a Hall of Fame driver, Mike Smith. He's originally from the Baffert barn, like Messier is, and that's Taiba. I think he's the horse that I'm going to put as on top for me, the 12. And I'm going to do some exotics with Zandon, with Messier, with all the Pletcher horses. So that's the 1, the 8, and the 11. Smart. And then I'm going to throw in, I think, the 15 also in there. So for me, I really like, I know this is only his 3rd start. A lot of people.
What's his odds?
He's 12-1 right now. I think a lot of people are concerned that it's only his 3rd start because, traditionally Kentucky Derby horses, 4 or 5 starts by the time they, get to the Kentucky Derby. But I like the way he's racing. I like Mike Smith on him. I like the way Mike Smith rode him in his last race. He's, like I said, he's with Yatin now, but that's originally the Baffert barn. Same with Messier. You have to take that into consideration. Even though, so for people that don't know, Bob Baffert is probably the greatest Kentucky Derby trainer ever, one of the best trainers ever. He's suspended for drug usage on a horse from I think 2 years ago, or was it? Right? Yeah. It was Medina, right? Yeah, which was 2 years ago, or was it last?
I think it was last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's suspended. He's out for a while. So what has to happen? He has to transfer his horses from his barn to another trainer's barn for them in order to be eligible, for the races. But don't discount that these horses have been in Baffert's barn, that he's been working with them, training them up until where he had to hand them over to Yakin. And I think Yakin is a high-quality trainer himself, and you're going to see it. I think the best driver in the last few years has been Flavin Pratt, who's driving Zandon. I think that's going to be a very, very, big thing for Zandon. He also gets a great position. I think that 10 spot in this race, falling right in that middle of the race, you basically could dictate how you want things to go. And he's got a speed horse on the outside of him, so he might travel with him a little bit or settle in. He doesn't have too much on the inside of him. The 9, not too much speed there, so he could probably settle himself in, maybe get on to the, 1 over, sit on the outside through the first turn, through the back stretch, and then place himself in position to make a move. And I think that's what you're going to see both Zandon and Taiba do, is set themselves up very similar kind of races. And they're both going to move basically at the same time. My question is, who's going to move first, and then who's going to have the kick at the end? So I think that has a lot to do with it. Now, our good friend, golf guru Anthony, who also is a Derby guy. He's away on vacation, so he missed the show. We wanted to have him on, but he's away on vacation, having a good time. But he did text me, and he likes, and I'm going to tell you, he likes Cyberknife to win the race. And he's the 16 horse. And the reason he likes him is he will love the added distance, is what he wrote to me. and he has the pedigree for it. So those are the two reasons that he likes it. He put in for his superfecta these four numbers: 1, which is your horse; the 5, which is Smile Happy; the 10, which is Zandon; and then of course his horse, the 16. So that's the 4 that he would superfecta the box for the race on Saturday. So, any thoughts about Cyberknife on your end, Mike?
I honestly, I haven't read much about him, but the thing that I have read is the speed, and and just his agility. I've heard that about him, like being able to close.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why Anthony.
Yeah, I think this is not a front. None of these. I think the Preakness is maybe more of a front running kind of race than the Derby is, especially the Belmont we know is not. Belmont is usually for distance horses, unless you have a super freak kind of horse that could just go to the front and they sit there all day. And I think this Derby, when you look at it, there's not a super horse, right? When you look at it right now, we don't. I think there's a lot of uncertainty. And this is the kind of race where if you play with some of these horses, play with some of these superfectas, throw maybe, 1 or 2 of the favorites out of your top 4, play some other horses that you like, look at your closers, look at where positions are. You can get a nice dollar superfecta box out there, maybe pay a pretty good price. I've seen Kentucky Derby superfectors for dollar bets pay close to 6 figures sometimes, I mean, so just think you're placing, about a $12 bet and working away with $100,000. I mean, that's
the beauty of this race.
Yeah.
Because you have 20 horses and I'm not talking the favorites, like the horses after the favorites are 8-1, 10-1. You put those in exotics, it adds up.
Yeah. And just so people understand, there's other ways of betting too. So there's something called all. So all is you're betting all those horses. So you can take, if you think you have a feel of the top 3, and let's just say you go 12, 10, 1, right? Let's just say those are your top 3. And you feel that's the order they're going to come in, but you have no idea who's going to finish 4th, you can bet all, and that'll give you the rest of the field. So if 12, 10, 1 comes in and you hit all, so even if the 18 horse comes in or the 17 or the 20, it doesn't matter. You then hit your superfecta. And again, you could bet $1. You can bet a dime, right? I think superfectas, you could bet a dime. Yeah. So, you lower your bet even more. You put a very minimal bet. You get, if you bet a dime, you get 10% of a superfecta, which again, even with favorites, a superfecta could pay $10,000. Right. So, just think you bet a dime, you win $1,000, right? I mean, it's, things like that. So it's definitely something for people to really consider.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't see anything else for me that I would go crazy with. I thought about Tawny Port a little bit. I just don't like where he sits out on 18. Epicenter is the second pick, and we didn't really talk about it. I think because for me he's 3rd. I don't like that he's next to the 4 horse. I don't like the way I think the field's going to shuffle for him. I think he's going to be one of those horses that's going to have a tough trip. It's the way I look at it right now. He maybe settles in better. They might have to push him harder at the beginning also,
right?
Which could, in turn put him in a position, but he might fade coming down the stretch because of that. So that's the only reason I really don't like him. I just don't like that 3 pole in a 20 horse race. How do you feel about that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I have the 1 horse, so I'm a little nervous about that. And the only reason why I'm high on him is because of the jockey and the trainer and his speed. So if he was in like the 7th or 8th position in the middle, no brainer, but I'm still going with my gut. So I'm not thrilled with the placement, but I think because of his speed, there's things that could happen, and he has a possibility to win. So yeah.
All right. So everyone knows Mike is picking the 1, Mo Dangle. I am picking the 12, Taiba. Mo is right now 10-1, and Taiba is 12-1. I'll probably put Exacta together with those 2 horses, Vin and Mike Exacta. Box, of course, 112. Maybe the traditional $2 Exacta box, which costs you $4, it's something like that. But again, these are some, a lot of fun. Make sure when you are betting that you are having fun, that this is, that you're not looking to win $1 million because you need $1 million, that you're betting, within your means, having fun and hope for the best. So,
yeah, no, it's a fun day. And again, it's just, you're texting your family and friends, like, who you picking? And then some people, here's another, just, if your I always play my birthday. I always have to do that, because if it came in a superfecta, I'd be sick. So I always play my birthday, because you never know. So yeah. I do a superfecta that way, and sometimes I'll box it too. It depends if the horses are, but play your birthday, play lucky numbers. I mean, have fun with it, right? It's going to be awesome. So
yeah. And I've heard people, taking their kids' birthdays and throwing them into different boxes and things like that as well. And again, race is Saturday. I think it's like 6:30. I know it's on NBC.
Pre-day.
They have a whole pre-thing. It's like the Super Bowl where we have 10 hours of
go off.
Yeah, you have 10 hours of coverage, like the Super Bowl and like every other big event now that has 10 hours of coverage and all the interviews. And, my mother likes to watch it, see what kind of hats the women are wearing and all that stuff. So, it's got all that pageantry and all that to it. But, have fun with it. Let us know, Vin and Mike podcast on Instagram. Send us a message. Let us know if you put any picks in. We'll throw up our all our exotics up there, probably Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, so people can see if they want to piggyback off us and go that way. So it's been fun doing this show, Mike. It was good to jump on, do a quick little derby.
Quick little analysis. I think our viewers will appreciate it. And good luck, everybody. Win big.
All right, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.